and it took like 5 years of exercise. Like I used to do ballet and stuff, so I used to do some sort of dance and used to ride around on a bike and played a bit of basketball. You know, it took like 5 years for me of continuous physical activity every afternoon to get all that additional weight sort of in check. I'm not saying I was that thin, I'm just saying I wasn't as fat as I was, and everything started to look a little bit tighter with all the muscles forming. But yeah, so I guess, you know, if I continue to sit and do nothing, that's sort of what I'll probably grow into again. Just something that's kind of fat, where you look heavy and you feel heavy, and you look kind of stupid. You know how you can't really find any clothes to sort of suit your body shape because you just know that you're just a big butterball. Yeah, that's when. So, you know, you never look that great, but I'm not saying I'm trying to get myself fit, just keep the weight in check, I guess. So I'm trying to do a bit more exercise, three little bouts of half an hour a day, or 2 15 minutes and one half an hour. But sometimes, you know, it's a bit hard. You grow lazy. You don't feel like doing exercise. But you know, I'll just try and keep it up anyways. I don't try to keep fit anymore. I went through a punishing fitness regime when I was growing up, and it's very difficult to get fit. I don't have a good color on my face because I think it's mainly because, you know, people expect you to have a red Aboriginal sort of face, but mine tends sort of like I get blue lips, blue face. And it was a part of my cleansing to have like cold showers because I have a little bit of herpes and it was getting rid of it. For some reason my immune system picked up and I could get rid of whatever disease I had, so I had no diseases. And I was constantly having cold face syndrome, which people call ugly. Anyway, my mom has a blue face, my grandma has a blue face on my mother's side. I think my grandma on my father's side has a blue face. So, you know, there's plenty of blue faces people. My father's the one that has brown skin. And he's sort of giving us our tans. Otherwise, we might have come out with lighter skin and blue faces, but everyone's got a blue face. But it was a big deal because when I was getting fit, all my physical shape was growing in check. So it was alarming to many of my closest relatives to actually look fit and actually have a body shape. Because they used to sing you as a butterball, and so turning into sort of this physical fitness freak was too much for their eyes and the mental processes. And I had a blue face, and I still have a blue face, but for some reason when you're sort of thinner, that they were interlocking it with anorexia and stuff, but you're not actually anorexic at all. And fair enough, I was doing a lot of fitness because I was trying to specifically get a lot of muscle, but I guess no one likes small muscles or something. If I turned big and muscly, it might not have been bad, but because I turned small, it was like everyone was sort of going blah blah blah, you're too thin, blah blah blah, you're anorexic, and it was a lot of cruelty, mental cruelty. I had no friends in my parents' eyes. Under my parents' eyes, I had no friend with them. I was pretty much almost abandoned for actually just doing a lot of fitness. I was just thinking, well, if you bother to do fitness, not drink coffee all day, and have your one meal in the afternoon and go to bed every day, then you might be as fit. But they don't. They pretty much, if they're not sort of doing a job which requires a bit of fitness, or walking some to the car, or walking at work, they don't do anything. They just go home and go to sleep after cooking dinner and cleaning, or gardening. So, sure enough, they do quite a bit of physical activities, but they never try to get fit. So, anyway, that was a big deal. So it was too hard for me to get fit, so I turned back into my butterball, because it's easy that way. And then, you have no issues. Well, you do have issues, but not as violent as when you're sort of just doing your hour and a half in the morning, hour and a half in the afternoon of exercise. So, I find it easy to be lazy, but at the moment I'm concerned about turning into a bigger butterball like I was when I was before I was 10. So, I'm trying to get three short exercise regimes in check, so I can be a moderate level weight. So I'm not turning fit, I'm not gaining too much muscle as to turn small, and I'm not turning fat as to be a big butterball where I have quite a bit of struggle with my weight. So without being as a basis as rolls of fat falling down your legs and stuff. So yeah. That's my main aim at the moment. But I can understand how people can put on weight when they're just sitting around, even if they eat well. I'm sure that people will find with the calorie tax and stuff that people can eat well. They can eat vegetables and rice all they want, but they'll still turn fat unless they do a little bit of exercise, and they'll turn if they in the right genetics to carry fat. Some people are lucky; they don't need to do any exercise, but they still, aren't fit. But if you do build up fat really easily, like our genetics does, then you'll have issues with turning into little butterballs or big butterballs or whatever.